Who doesn't have, want, or need a little cock in their life? No, not that. Chicken cock. Let's get into this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. My name is Scott. If you're new to this channel and you're looking for reviews of different whiskeys such as bourbons, rye, American style whiskeys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also make sure to hit the bell notification. That's going to alert you to when I'm doing new uploads or live streams. So today I've got something that's a little bit special, a little bit newer kind of to the market. This is going to be the Chicken Cock Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This is coming in at 90 proof or 45% ABV. Mash bill on this one is undisclosed. It is non-age stated, and the MSRP on this one is right around that $60 price point. So let's get into this one. Let's see if this is going to be worth the money. It's something that's kind of become a little bit newer back into the market. So let's kind of get into this one a little bit. So typically what I try to do with most or all of my reviews is we'll go through the appearance, we'll nose it, taste it, and then really get into anything else having to do with the whiskey itself. So, all right. So color wise, you can see kind of a nice light copper, very, very typical. It's a look on a bourbon that's very typical. This is what you get a lot of times, that light copper, things along those lines. So, and then of course, two things I really like to do as always is move the whiskey around in the glass a little bit, introduce some air to that. And then also for me, more importantly, is to check and see how oily it is. And this one, as I move it around, there's some pretty nice legs. It's actually showing that it's pretty oily for a 90 proof bourbon. I'm pretty impressed so far, but let's get into the review. We'll get into the nose and we'll see what how this one stacks up. So, boy, so right away this really nice spice to it. A little bit of orange zest is kind of coming out. Really nice vanilla note there on it as well. That vanilla, that orange, it's almost like an orange creamsicle. Some light oak. It's like almost like this creamy caramel note to it as well. So if it would smell like it's going to be creamy, that's kind of like what it is. It's kind of that rich, creamy caramel note. Some sweet corn there. And even a bit of like a toasted marshmallow on it there as well. Even some like a toasted nuts, like some type of nut that's there. Yeah, more little cinnamon kind of came out there in it. Yeah, more of that honey. A really sweet kind of floral nose to it. So more going on than I thought there was actually going to be. So more importantly, let's see how this one tastes. Cheers. So right away, this nice creamy caramel note. Really nice vanilla notes that are there as well. That light oak. Not as heavy on the like orange or orange zest as it was on the nose. There's still a little bit of that toasted characteristic to it as well. So I don't know if they're charring and toasting some of the barrels and the heads on this one, but there's a little bit of a toasted aspect to it. Some baking spice there as well. Starts to dry out a little bit there, so you start to get some of that, what will appear to be like maybe a tobacco or a leather. So for me, as things begin to kind of dry out a little bit, that leather tobacco note kind of starts to come through a little bit. yeah, really nice, just kind of overall, like a medium richness. I mean, it's not super big and bold, and you wouldn't expect it to be, again, for a 90 proofer, but there's some really nice underlying, just standard bourbon notes. Some of that little bit of orange zest that's there. A little bit of that light oak. Again, starts to dry out a little bit as the finish begins to kind of develop. Finish on this is probably maybe upwards of medium. Again, a little bit dry. And that zest, here comes a little bit more of that orange zest, so it starts to linger a little bit later in the palate. That baking spice or medium oak kind of hits more on the mid palate for me on this one. But overall, I think it's a really solid, you know, bourbon. Now, at the $60 price point for a 90 proof bourbon, for me in today's day and age, that's maybe a little bit steep. I guess I'd like to see this more in the range of like the $40 price point. I think that would be a little bit more approachable for what it is that you're getting. But overall, I think it's a really nice, solid, you know, everyday sipping type of bourbon. So, you know, give it a try. You know, the only thing I guess I would say that would hold me back from an everyday type of purchase or a strong recommendation would just be the price point on it. I think if this was maybe upwards of 100 or maybe a little bit more, I think that would be maybe a little more along the lines of it being a decent or a strong value. But again, you know, value is subjective. So I'll kind of leave it at that. But overall, I think it's a nice, solid, everyday sipping type of bourbon. For cocktails, I think it would still do a really nice job. There's enough spice, some oak and everything that's there as well. So, you know, give this one a try. If you do have, or if you have tried it or you do get it, leave a comment below. I'm always interested to hear people's thoughts and feedback on these bourbons and whiskeys that I'm reviewing. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to another one of my reviews. I greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can through my Patreon page, which I'll have linked in the description below, along with a few other things. So make sure you check that stuff out. If you'd like to follow me, you can on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, really all of those social media places. So with that being said, again, thank you so much for tuning into another one of my reviews. And like I say, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.